Welcome to the Powercast with Charlie Johnson. I'm one of the world's leading fitness and transformation coaches. I'm going to be providing you with the tools to build your ultimate body and mind. So, absolute pleasure today to have Darren Darrell. Farrell. I don't know if I'll ever pronounce your name right. IFBB Pro.
Farrell, yeah.
Farrell. IFBB Pro Classic Physique from sunny Dubai, who's currently in Greece, on the podcast. So absolute pleasure. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thanks. Nice and relaxed now, enjoying a nice holiday, which is good, away from the busy life in Dubai.
No, it's whereabouts in Greece are you?
A place called Hanyadi. It's on one of the peninsulas. So it's actually where me and my wife got married 3 years ago. Next week.
You got anything special planned for anniversary?
Yeah, we do. Every year we go back to the hotel we had our reception, and we stay in the honeymoon suite.
That's awesome, mate.
Yeah.
Are you going to let yourself have a cheat meal or a free meal that day? Because Becky was telling me you're so anal on your diet that you don't eat, like, even though you eat a lot of food, you don't let yourself have a donut or anything.
Yeah, I'll have that weekend off. I'm supposed to, or I'd have like 2 cheat meals a week. But I'm on that much food at the moment that I tend to just stick to my plan.
No,
unless something comes up. I don't cheat meals for the sake of having them. I kind of have them when I want them. Yeah,
as if it fits your lifestyle, which is probably a better approach, to be fair. Yeah. So, obviously, what we wanted to discuss today with you, which is the incredible feat, is obviously how you turned pro, and in that 12 months, how you literally completely transformed your physique, adding a hell of a lot of muscle. Which is something obviously a lot of us guys, including myself, are looking to try to do. So we're going to try and pick your brain and find out how you did it, what tips we can try and pull out from you that could help obviously the audience. So if you explain obviously initially your journey, like where you came from, and obviously your pro qualifying show.
Yeah, cool. I guess I'll start with kind of a bit of a backstory into that year. So I think I did my first ever show at the age of 24. I'd probably been training about a year at that point. And from there, I did a couple more shows in Ireland and moved to the UK when I was 26, 27. And competed in UK BFF, did a few shows. And I actually didn't compete for 2.5 years, roughly. And I'd been in Dubai just over a year. And in that sort of period, and so, what was it, 3 years ago now? So I've been in Dubai 3 years. So I think it was 6 months before I moved to Dubai, I was diagnosed with depression. I went through a pretty bad time with that, struggling to find like self-worth, confidence, everything really. So while in Dubai, I decided that they just launched the division of classic physique, and that kind of suited the weight limit where I was, because I used to do classic bodybuilding, but I was too heavy for that now. As I think the weight limit for me as a classic bodybuilder was 82 kilos. How
tall are you, Darren?
179 centimeters, so just like 5'10" roughly.
Okay, it's about the same as me.
So it was 82 kilos for classic bodybuilding in what was then the IFBB. So I couldn't do that. And then they launched classic physique. So I decided I'd try and do that. So I prepped for it. And as you can probably imagine, doing a prep when you're not the most mentally stable or in a good place is not ideal. So obviously, the prep didn't go great. I competed in New Zealand and Ireland.
Did you prep yourself for those shows?
I had someone help me, but I did the nutrition side of it myself. I had a trainer in Dubai, Banus Gym. The owner of Banus Gym used to train me, and he supported me. But I did the nutrition side of things myself to an extent, and probably over-dieted, overdid cardio, and just pushed myself a little, probably too hard to an extent. And I did end up cheating my diet and stuff like that on the way, and not my best showing at a competition.
Out of curiosity, obviously, a bit of a personal question. Did you find your relationship suffered a bit in that period as well? Because you're stressing about the show. Haven't really got anyone like fully on you nutritionally coaching you, and you were a bit low anyway.
Massively, yeah. More so, I think more so for Becky, it was frustrating seeing me sort of hide behind prep than actually deal with my issues that I had. So they did. It was definitely it was hard on her, and it's something we will be. It's a topic we're going to be discussing in August at the NFM UK event with Mental Health Muscle, and we're actually doing a talk together, Stronger Together, which is
what date and where is that, Darren?
It is August the 18th, and I believe it's in Walsall, just outside Birmingham.
Okay.
So we'll be talking about not just me going through mental health and my issues with it and my depression, but from her side of things as well, and what she did and how it affected her. Because obviously it's not a journey most people go, well, it's not a journey people should go through on their own. It's generally it will affect others around you too. Yeah, so I did those two shows, and I think a big turning point was just before I flew to Ireland for the second of those shows. My current coach, friend, training partner, Jamie Dorigo, moved to Dubai. And we talked a lot, and he helped me kind of get perspective on things. And initially helped me with my kind of getting my head right, getting my focus right, which had a massive knock-on effect to my mental health and everything. It kind of had me thinking the right way, sorting what needed to be sorted out first before going into the physical side of things. And as soon as I got back from Ireland, I began working with him, and just had a complete different focus, different kind of clarity, different view on it all. Previously, my kind of driving force for prepping and doing it was I wanted a pro card to prove to people something, and to get recognition and all this. When I started working with Jay, that all went out the window. It was nothing to do with the show. It was nothing to do with winning a pro card. It was it was all about just being better. Take every day, just be better. Just do everything you can every day to be better. And we just had I think it was 6 to 8 months where literally I just used every minute of every day to do that. Pushing food, pushing my training. And I think the biggest aspect for me was enjoying it and being positive. And the improvements, I think we were both a little surprised as it was going. I remember we kind of set like targets or little targets of like weights and stuff to be, and it was like, oh, okay, we're like 3 months ahead of where we thought we would be. He's like, okay, let's try and be 225. And I was like, let's try and be 230. And it ended up, I think I ended up at the end of the off season at 242. After initially us trying to see if we could be like 225.
It's a huge amount of progress, isn't it?
Yeah. And then we started a prep, and we actually started prepping them quite early, so that because it was always in my mind that I wanted to sort of enjoy Christmas a bit. Let's have a day off or two over Christmas. So we started prepping beginning of December. So I got myself in a good place, took a day or two off, like 2 days off, and then it was back to normal. And it was 12 months pretty much where I think the biggest difference compared to most people is my off season was every day of that time was used. It wasn't like, I'm going to
Off
have a
season
big
was
off.
like a contest prep. Like you were doing everything, ticking the boxes daily, unlike most people who use an off season as time just to do what they want, I guess.
Yeah, and I think what most people will be surprised, the biggest thing was, I think a lot of people, I did cardio every single day. I still do cardio every single day.
How much do you do at the moment?
Well, when I'm in Greece at the moment, I just go for a walk outdoors, and I walk to the next village and back, and it takes me an hour. But in my actual cardio is supposed to be 30 minutes incline walk on a treadmill. That's it. And that's probably what I'll do most of prep as well. I think the majority of my actual prep last time was that. I think it went as high as 45 minutes.
What, just incline walk on a treadmill?
Just incline, and I'm talking. It's not exactly what I prescribe clients to do. I usually tell clients to do a little higher intensity, but for me, I'm lucky that all I ever did was level 4.5 incline 5. So just plodding along. Because our training intensity is very high, so cardio is not really that necessary. It's more there just to help with my digestion and just start my day off right.
Exactly the same. If anyone listening any of my clients as well get any ideas about going for a leisurely stroll on the treadmill, having trained with Darren and spent a week in Dubai training in that environment, like the intensity in the sessions is another level. And that if you train like that, if I train like that all the time, I wouldn't need to do any cardio for a contest prep or anything like that, because your body's like a furnace and it's just getting like so fired up from the session alone that cardio, as you said, like this reason I do it in the morning now is just, it's more for a digestive aid and like cognitive function rather than really fat loss.
Yeah, it's for me the biggest part about it. Like, and I probably don't have to be doing cardio right now, but for me the biggest part is just to start my day the same way every day.
Structure.
Get up in the same, just structure. And anyone who's ever suffered with mental health or is going through this, one of the biggest things is creating a positive routine. And like for me, I have anxiety issues, and I'm very much, my routine and stuff, if that gets thrown off, it really messes with me. So I know I like to have everything my way. I get up every day, do my cardio, I reply to emails. I just straight away, you're starting your day off by 8 a.m. latest. I've completed something. I've done something positive already to feel good about. So you're starting your day off with one foot in front. You're already feeling good about yourself
already.
Yeah, and like if you get out, you roll out of bed and you go to do something you don't like, you haven't done any. All of a sudden, you get to 2 p.m. and you're still feeling like drowsy and it's not really that great, and it's not really setting the tone for your day. Whereas you get up, you smash out your cardio, you feel good about yourself, you're setting your day up positively, and it's only going to go up from there.
100%.
Yeah. So with my off season, I think everyone's like, "Oh, you did a lot in a year." I'm like, that year is the same year for everyone else.
Everyone's the same 365 days.
Yeah, it's just I use those days, whereas most people would be like, "Oh, I'm gonna have a big off season." How many holidays do they have in that? How many weekends off? How many birthdays do they go to? How many, dinners out do they have? I still made sacrifices, but at this point now, I don't even see things as sacrifices. Like I still go and enjoy stuff. I'm in Greece for a month, but I haven't missed a beat on my diet. I'm still enjoying stuff. Still go out, like, and have a meal out with Becky, but I'll order like fresh fish and I'll ask them to grill it away, and it will be within my meal.
Do you find the same? Because I spend a lot of time in Spain in Marbella with my family, and I find it so easy almost there, probably the same in Greece, to eat out and stay on point, because like pretty much all the food is like fresh fish, veg, generally clean, like Mediterranean lifestyle food. So it's so easy.
Yes.
And it's just like, fish and chips and like some, not that I'd eat that sort of place anyway, but what I mean, the food is so fresh and is better quality, I find, than the UK anyway.
If you're not an idiot, it's pretty simple for everyone to stay on their food plan in this sort of environment, because even if you are going out to eat with family or something, your choices on the menu are pretty much all relatively healthy. There isn't, you can't, I don't know about where you go, but in the village I'm in Greece here, you can't go and get a burger and chips anywhere. I think the nearest pizza place is like 40 minutes drive from here.
What about cheesecake?
You physically can't eat unhealthily. Okay, there's the ice cream places if you want to go and indulge in ice cream and stuff, but
yeah,
if you're going out for a nice meal with family, it's nearly impossible to go crazy, you know.
No, 100%.
It's the perfect environment. Like obviously, Dubai is very easy to eat out and eat healthy because you've got healthy restaurants, and then even like I've gone to like Cheesecake Factory and I've asked for grilled salmon and rice, and I've had a weighing scale with me and I've weighed out my food there, and there's no issues.
That's dedication. That's impressive. I don't think I've gone to the extent of taking my scales to a restaurant yet, but still.
I used them to, and it's something I never would have done before. But it's another kind of influence from Jamie is like, who gives a fuck what people think?
Yeah, to be fair, I don't give a fucking shit anymore. Like,
to be honest, as the way things are now, I walk into a restaurant or wherever, and I'm going to get looked at funny anyway. I'm 240 pounds. I'm not exactly a normal looking person.
No.
So I get it. I get looked at, you know, and people are very well aware that I'm a bodybuilder. So I've got over that whole, and that was a big part of my mental health, was not to do with bodybuilding, but people's impression of me. I used to always struggle. Like if Becky used to say the biggest when she noticed I'd changed was she'd been away last summer for 2 months and she came back, and that 2 months I really used to grow personally myself because I had to. I was on my own. I couldn't hide behind her in social situations. And we went out for a meal with friends. And she said, after the meal out, she went to, she was like, I was quiet all night. She was like, I couldn't believe how much you talked, because previously I would struggle to talk in a group of people purely because I was so worried what people would think about me, like what's the other man, you know, their impression of me, that I used to just go inside myself and just not say a word. And Becky used to recognize that. She'd talk for us and kind of help me in that way. But in the long run, it's not really helping. You kind of have to get. So I said, like, I was speaking to someone recently who's going through something similar. I was like, you kind of just have to jump in at the deep end, and the people around you kind of have to. Although it's great that they want to help, they nearly have to step back and make you do it yourself, because if you get looked after and you get mothered to an extent, you're never going to change. You're actually probably going to get worse.
Yeah, it won't come out for sure.
No. So for me, it was this time last year. I decided to stay in Greece for the 2 months, and Becky came here. Or I decided to stay in Dubai, and Becky came here to Greece to see her parents. And in those 2 months, so much changed for me. I just learned to be me, and just to be okay being me. And that was a massive turning point for me.
That's awesome. In regards to obviously your training in this phase, obviously I've started a lot of similar style training work with the girls. So you do 2-a-day sessions. Did you find that a big change initially?
Yeah, definitely. I think me and Jamie both started working with the Gelsies. I think the week we came back from New Zealand. Yeah, just after I turned pro, and we started working with the Gelsies, and that first week, I just remember just feeling absolutely battered. It's a big change, and it's like, I think you have to learn how to cope with it. You have to set up your environment and your lifestyle a lot differently than you usually would. You can't miss a beat with food. You have to be on point with your rest and recovery. So yeah, that first week, I remember getting to like the 6th or 7th day and having a rest day and just being like, oh my God, thank God.
Yeah, you get to that point where you've beaten your body into submission, and then you know it's time to rest, and then put the food back in. Yeah,
and we certainly noticed, like, although me and Jay train the same and we train together all the time and like that, but he just has this level of recovery that's crazy. I'm pretty sure he could train 365 days of the year and not rest. He's like, it's incredible. But I definitely notice with me in terms of my my energy levels by about 6 or 7 days at a push. You can see me starting to fatigue, and we either have to refeed or rest. Generally, probably both, in order to get me back up to performing the way I should be.
With the training the previous year, so the year obviously before you turned pro and obviously stepped up from there, what did your training split look like then?
It wasn't like set in stone.
Quite instinctive, wasn't it, the way you're working from talking with you before?
Yeah, it was quite instinctive. So it was basically, we train everything twice in the week. So we train every day. It was only one session a day, but we train so it'd be like chest and delts. And then it'd be we never did chest and delts. It was chest and like arms, and then like back. We used to do chest and triceps, back and biceps. Then there'd be like a delts and like traps day, and there was a legs day, which was one was quad dominant, one was hamstring dominant, and then there was a full arms day on its own as well. So we were hitting arms quite a lot, legs quite a lot, and then everything twice. But in terms of what days we did stuff on, like with the legs were kind of always set. That it would be like there'd always be one on a Saturday, and then one midweek. Like probably by the time it was like we'd take it, we'd go like Saturday, we'd go Sunday would be an upper day, Tuesday would be an upper day, and then it'd be like Wednesday or Thursday, depending on if we were recovered from Saturday. And we just kind of worked like that. There was kind of a structure there, but we gauge on recovery. If the muscle wasn't recovered, we'd just wait another day and do something else.
And in terms of like training style, how would you set up the sessions? Was it what sort of stuff would you be looking to do? Do you take more like a progressive overload approach, or do you go for more like pump volume work, or combination of all those factors?
I think anyone who ever saw our sessions would just be like, what the hell are these two fuckers doing?
Crazy, insane.
It was always, there was 10 or 11 exercises, and every one of those would be as heavy as you would. So we'd work up to we'd do 1 or 2 warm-up sets, whatever was needed to get, and build up to progressively to what our sort of 7 to 10 rep max was.
Yeah.
And then generally we'd do 4 sets at that weight. Or, if we were getting like 10 reps, say if we're doing a dumbbell press or whatever, we were doing like 10 reps at 55, then you got like set 2, you got like 10 reps again, and set 3, you got like 9 reps. And we'd probably jump to 60s and do a set. If we still got 7 reps, either 7 or 8 reps, we'd do another set. So there may be 5 or 6 sets. It'd always be kind of like until you couldn't get 7.
Yeah.
And then there might be a back off set or something like that. And that was literally on every exercise was like that. So our sessions were like 2 hours long, 2.5 hours sometimes.
With your sessions of that length, were you using any intra-workout drinks, out of curiosity?
No, it's something I've never really done. I think occasionally they were put in on my higher days, if I had a refeed, just because in my off season my food was so high that in order to get my food higher, we tended, I think, in a couple of my refeed days, maybe put in like 100 grams of intra-workout carbs. But no, I never really have done. It's always been my pre and post have always been quite high food. It's not that, to be honest, I do see them as beneficial, and I do recommend them for a lot of people. It's just, I think with me, I do have I tend to eat my pre-workout meal like an hour and a half to 2 hours before my training. So my stomach, I don't like feeling like my stomach's full, and I do have
exactly the same
digestion issues like that. So I don't want to risk, like even last year in prep, I think a couple of weeks out, we were training. My stomach got so sensitive. We were training, and I'd be like, my belt was hurting my stomach, and I was like, we couldn't understand why. We didn't change anything, and then we just decided we'd swap. I was having whey isolate pre-workout with my baby rice, and Jay was like, just change it to chicken and see how that. When we changed it to chicken and took it, it's fine. So even like whey isolate was creating a problem with my stomach when I was training. But I don't have any issues with weight. Usually it's just I get even more sensitive when I'm on prep. So I have issues with my stomach sometimes. So stuff like that, I just never bother with.
One thing I was going to ask, obviously, I'd be interested to run through what your diet roughly was looking like, but obviously you said you had digestive issues to a degree anyway. Did you have any tactics or strategies or anything you were using to try and help mitigate that? I know we've talked about doing cardio in the morning to help with digestion, but were there any supplements you were using? Were you trying to chew your food, a bit liquid or anything like that?
I use a lot of digestion and health supplements in general, which is even grown even further now. So I'll run through. I can't remember exactly what I used to use then, but it was everything I'm using now, but I'm using a bit more now. So I have a good digestive enzyme. I use 50 billion probiotic every day as well. I always use, with my higher carb meals, I use GDAs. What else? I take black charcoal.
With the black charcoal, because this is a question I always find is difficult to answer. You know, you're hypothetically supposed to take it on an empty stomach or not with food or anything else.
Yeah.
Or with other supplements, apparently. When do you actually take it?
The black charcoal, I actually take, that's the only thing I take first thing in the morning before cardio. Okay. Unless I'm taking a fat burner or anything like that as well. But I take my black charcoal in the morning, and then the rest of the stuff I take when I get back from cardio, and I take just before I eat.
And what do you find the benefits of the black charcoal? What's the thought process behind that?
To be honest, it's just something. It's something that Jay had an issue with his stomach last year. It was something I think it was Chris told him to do, and within a few days, Jay's cleared up, and then ever since then, he's always used them. And when I was going through my issues, he was just like, "Yeah, whack those in," and it has helped massively. Like, to be honest, I don't fully understand how the process of them works within. I know they just like flush out the bacteria and stuff, but
something else as well. I don't know if you've tried, because I had a few digestive issues. I find when I travel a lot, my stomach tends to flare up a bit. Obviously, I work with Dr. Dean, so he recommended saying black charcoal as well, but also oil of oregano capsules that help like cleanse the gut microbiome. Those work really well if you have take it for like a week. It's like if your stomach flares up and you have a bit of a bad bout of toilet issues, take that for like 7 days, and it really helps almost heal the gut almost and clean everything out.
Yeah.
So that's where I have to go for anyone who's listening.
And then other than those, the rest of our supplements are pretty much everything you get on supplement needs. So I use like their heart stack, their liver stack, their blood and kidney pressure. And then I use liposomal, glutathione, curcumin, CoQ10, the vitamin C and the B12. And then I take, what else? I use their sleep stack at night. And I use a lot of stuff related to cortisol, obviously, because with anxiety issues and stuff like that I have had, keeping my cortisol down is key for me. So I use the Halcyon trained by JP Nutrition.
Yeah.
And then I also use Support Max Neuro by Strong.
Yeah, the Support Max Neuro I find is particularly good. Pre-bed,
that's very good.
Sleep stack by Supplement Needs gives you like trippy dreams. I find it's good.
Yeah, that's my pre-bed stack is those two, and I use the Halcyon straight after training to bring cortisol down. So what I'll do is as soon as I finish training, I'll have a serving of Halcyon, and then I'll probably eat my meal about 30 minutes later.
Ah, perfect.
And it's got me in a good place at the moment. So yeah, I think.
Would you agree with your body when it feels healthier? Like if your body's healthy, it'll respond and everything will function a million times better, and it'll grow muscle, stay leaner, and that's where I think people don't pay attention to blood pressure, digestion, how you feel. they just keep pushing themselves down like an alleyway of just trying to batter their body into doing more.
Yeah,
it's not the right approach.
100%. I don't understand why people don't get that. It's like, it doesn't matter. You can do everything under the sun, but if your body's not taking it in or absorbing it, it's pointless. It's like pumping fuel into a car and the fuel just going straight out a hole half a meter before it even gets to the engine.
Yeah,
it's not going to do anything. That's why digestion and your health and the blood pressure, all of these things matter so much. And not only forget performance and improving, but fucking hell, longevity. At the end of the day, you want to live a long life, and a lot of what we do is counterproductive to that. So we need to certainly look after ourselves every way we can. And that's something I think more so in the last 2 years, I've been very, very conscious of.
Interestingly, you say you're conscious of that in the last 2 years. The 2 years, you would agree, is probably the most you've ever progressed, probably compared to 8 to 10.
Yeah, because previously I think it was just ignorance as well to it all, and thinking you're invincible, and just focusing on what you think is going to get you bigger. The task, the immediate task at hand. Whereas you got to think longevity and long term with it. That it's not just about what you're doing right now. You need to set yourself up for a long time, and it's okay. Yeah, if you take a certain thing now, it might help. But if you're not setting that off with the health benefits, and that's going to be making you unhealthy, then in 6 months' time you're going to struggle to progress the same way you were then.
100%. Now, with your diet in terms of the phase of crewing all this muscle tissue, what was the setup for that? How did that look like? Were you pushing the carbs around the workouts? Were you having carbs spread throughout the day? What did the overall structure look like?
So I'll give kind of an example. There was carbs in every meal, but obviously pre and post workout was always more higher. So
yeah,
for example, it would have been breakfast was always a little higher in carbs as well. So breakfast would always been 100 grams of carbs. Then meal 2 would have been 50, 60. Meal 3 would have been 50, 60. Meal 4, which is pre-workout, would have been 120 to 150. Post-workout would have been 150-ish. And then another meal, which would have been probably about 50, 60.
In terms of food choices, what would you be looking at for those meals? Breakfast for 100 grams carbs, would you be looking to go, if you're taking that solely from oats, that's a lot of oats, you go for cream of rice, what would you be looking at?
So yeah, last prep I used a lot of, my carb sources were the same for every meal. There was cream of rice and maybe some jam, bagels. Then there was baby rice, ordinary basmati rice, and cereal. I think that was the only carb sources I used really. And then obviously the muffin or the cookie pre-workout.
What type of cookie?
I'm a plain chocolate chip one from Costa or Starbucks.
Good shout.
This year, the setup is pretty much the same with my food, except at the moment I'm currently on more normal food. To be honest, I'm not using baby rice at the moment. I'm not using ground rice. So, for instance, now I have. I'll run you through my current diet. At the moment, I have breakfast is 4 whole eggs, 10 egg whites, then it's 100 grams of oats, a full apple, 2 slices of toast, and jam. And then my next meal is 200 grams of chicken, 200 grams of rice, 30 grams of almond butter. My next meal, which is my pre-workout meal, is 200 grams of chicken, 250 grams of rice, and 40 to 50 grams of carbs from cookie or muffin. So it's 2 cookies or a muffin or something like that.
With the rice, you're having white rice, I presume, Thai jasmine rice, basmati something quick digested.
Yeah, basmati rice at the moment. Thai jasmine, if I can get my hands on it, we can't really find it in the shops here in Greece. Then post workout is 150 grams of low fat cereal, 50 grams of whey isolate, and 2 slices of toast with jam. And then my next meal is 185 grams of 5% mince, 200 grams of rice. And then my final meal is 225 grams of salmon, 100 grams of oats, and 75 grams of pineapple.
That's interesting.
I'm on I think it's just under 700 grams of carbs at the moment.
It's interesting. Like, obviously, you're only training once a day, I believe, whilst you're out in Greece. When you were training twice a day, were you finding it more difficult in some respects to get the food in, but not having it on top of the meals, if that makes sense? Because when I train twice a day, I find it a little bit difficult sometimes to get 6 meals in without, because the same as you, I like to have a little bit of a window before training to let it go down.
Yeah, I was. It really depends on what time. If we train at like 12 or 1 with our first session, then it's okay. But if our first session becomes 1, 2,
yeah,
it gives out that meal free. So I'd always have 2 meals before the first session and 2 meals before the second session. So, and then 2 meals after the second session. So my 6 meals are 2 meals train, 2 meals train, 2 meals. But those 2 meals in the middle of the 2 sessions often become very close together if our training times are a little off. But yeah, so I just adjust those if I need to a little bit.
Do you, with your meals, are you adding a certain amount of veg to them, or like do you do the same as me? You just have as much as you want within reason? I imagine that the point you're at now with your food being so high, you're probably not that bothered about having like a huge amount of veg meals other than from health.
To be honest, it's probably something I'd say the most don't do as I do here. I actually don't have any veg at the moment, really. Occasionally, if I'm bothered with that steak mince meal, I'll add veg and make I'll throw like the rice, the mince, and like some veg in a pan and mix it all together and like put some chopped in tomato, make like a bolognese kind of thing out of it. But
yeah, most
of the time I can't be bothered. I'm tired. Just want to get the food in, and I'm not even that hungry, so it's just like just eat it. So yeah, at the moment I don't really have any veg. But what I do is I take a serving of AD grazed in the morning and at night, so I can just get my fibre up.
Yeah, that's a great product, to be fair. Is it like the chocolate flavoured one?
Yeah.
To be fair, that tastes really, really nice. I did buy some of that a while ago. I was very, very impressed.
To be honest, anyone who's on prep, I'd say that could save you in terms of cravings. You mix that with the AD fibre, just with like a bit of water, put it in a bowl and just put some water and stir it and mix it and just leave it for like 30 minutes. It sets like a little pudding, little chocolate pudding.
So what do? You mix the grazed with?
They also, AD also do a product called Fibre Plus.
Yeah, I'm going to have to check this out.
And it's chocolate flavour as well. So you mix the two of them together and just put some water in a bowl, like maybe 100, 200 mils of water, and just leave them for 20, 30 minutes. Just sit them in the fridge even, and it'll be like, they congeal like a jelly kind of pudding.
That's on the list of things to try then. So I'll add that in for me. I'm struggling.
It's epic, man. Towards the end of my prep last time, that with my final meal was amazing.
No, big fan. So to be fair to you, like where you're at, I think now overall in like life and everything, I'm so impressed with you as a friend with where you've come from and to where you are now. And like, I remember like the moment actually seeing when you won your pro card, I was so pleased for you because I knew how much it meant. And like, obviously I rarely see you, but when following your journey on social media as we do in the last year, like a year or two, I could see how much like you and Jamie were literally just going in like non-stop and how it was just 24/7 and that's you were just living and breathing it. So it's a prime example of like you reap what you sow in life, and if you put in the work and you have the right work ethic and the people around you, then you'll get the results.
100%. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. But yeah, what you say is, I think the point you said about people around you makes that, I think that's something people don't realize how important that is. And it's not the amount, it's the quality of the people around you.
Like you probably agree, like your circle, as you get older, your circle gets smaller, but it gets tighter. So like I have 100%. A handful of people in my life now who are very, very close to me, who like I would rely on with anything, rather than like 1,000 people who, if that makes sense.
Like I remember like a couple of years ago, like you'd go out on a Saturday night with loads of friends, whatever. You'd always be, now I've got a handful of friends, like, and that's it. And there's other people I'm just not that bothered with, and I might sound clinical, but I'm not. First and foremost, my wife is my priority, and then my close friends. That's it. And like I've even gone to the extent now that social media is like, it's part of our lives. It's where we do our work. It's where we do everything that revolves around it now. But if I'm on my social media and when I am like scrolling or I'm looking at stories, anything that I see that annoys me or I'm like, that doesn't add value, I literally just unfollow that person.
Oh mate, I'm exactly the same. I had a mass unfollowing spree a while ago, and it's like dumping one of the best things I say to anyone is just like dump the negativity from your environment. So like the best thing I do is I don't watch the news anymore. I don't read the paper. If it's not something I can't control, I quite frankly don't care, because I don't need that negativity around me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's just worrying about something for the sake of worrying about it.
And that's what leads to more stress, anxiety, and all these other issues that are in the world. And like the more positivity you can have and put out into the world, the more positivity you'll get back.
100%. Like nowadays, all I do is I just focus on my wife, my friends, and my clients, and that's pretty much it. I don't really care about what else goes on.
But nothing else matters if that's what matters to you. So that's the perfect way for it to be.
And I live a pretty simple life. I think people might see like me and Jay and think like we're balling it in Dubai, but we're very boring.
Like, Cheesecake Factory every night.
No, we're very boring. I think the extent of our thing is like every sort of probably once a week.
Cinema, isn't it?
We do the VIP cinema.
Yeah,
that's our night out.
It's your little bromance date.
Yeah, me, Jay, Steph, and Bex. We like the cinema because we're literally the definition of Netflix and chill. I come back to the gym in the evening at like I presume I get in at like 7, 8 p.m. every night. Have a meal and sit down and watch something on Netflix for an hour, and then I'm in bed by 10 most nights.
I am same. It's an exciting life we lead.
Yeah, very.
On that note, on a slightly different topic, what is there good on Netflix you're watching at the moment? What does an IFBB Pro watch?
What did we just watch? We're watching the new Stranger Things at the moment.
Any good?
Yeah, it's decent. Bex really likes it. I'm like, it's good, but it's kind of lost its kind of appeal to me, because the first one was like, because it was so different, that was like the appeal was, it was like a bit out there, but it's lost that part of it now. So it's like, okay, but it's still pretty decent. What's that show called? What else are we watching? Can't even remember. Becky usually picks the series we watch, and I'm like, if I don't fall asleep in the first one, she's like, okay, we'll watch this.
Yeah, you are a notorious sleeper from what I've seen.
Yeah, so so she usually picks them. We're big Game of Thrones fans.
Oh mate, who isn't?
That was and Power. We're waiting for the new season of Power to come back.
So to wrap things up here, if you were going to give 3 final tips for guys or girls who are looking to try and add as much muscle mass as they can next 12 months, what would they be if you could only give 3 tips?
Be consistent.
Love it.
That's got to be the first.
That's everything in life.
Yeah, especially So we're talking adding muscles off season. I think the problem most people face with that is they get bored.
Exactly what I was about to say.
Nothing changes. Nothing changes. At least on prep, your diet changes every kind of week or two.
You look different all the time.
Yeah, off season. Unfortunately, the simple thing is you just gotta. It's a simple process of just keep eating, and do the same thing every day for a long period of time. So yeah, consistency. That's got to be number one. Number two, in a kind of similar manner, focus, and I mean focus on you. Ignore everything else going on around you. Just block out the noise of what people say. Because that's something that used to get to me and I don't mean like people, talking negatively about you, but also people talking positively. Because we all know that people in your gym will go, "Oh, mate, you look fucking amazing," blah, blah, blah. There was someone in the gym, they're not the person that really, I'm not, just say thank you, but don't read into it too much. Don't start thinking you're God's gift because a couple of people in your gym think you look huge.
I don't know if you say the same, but I actually don't like it when people pay me compliments because this is a bit of a weird mindset, but my biggest fear is becoming complacent, and to make myself push myself, this is very deep, but I have to, when I train, almost think I don't like the way I look or I hate the way I look to make myself push myself harder to try and improve, if that makes sense. So I don't really like people paying me compliments because it makes me like in my head think I can ease off a little bit.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's one of the reasons I love my wife is because she tells me my back is shit regularly. So keeps me going to improve. Like I have a vision of what I need to look like and what I want to look like, and that's all that matters in my head. I don't care what other people think. And the only person's opinion that I really listen to at the moment is Jamie's. And that was the same with prep, and that worked well last time. So that's what we're doing this time. He's the only person opinion that matters to me. And of course, Becky, when she tells me my back shit,
I could WhatsApp you now and then and say back shit as well if that helps. I'm happy to do it. I'll take on for the team there.
Yeah, so consistency, focus, and positivity.
Awesome.
Stay positive about it. At the end of the day, you're gonna have days where you feel like shit. You're gonna have days where you don't think you're good enough. You don't think you're doing as much as you can. Just if you're getting up every day and you're doing it, that's a step in the right direction. So
and you're enjoying it as well.
Yeah, enjoy it. Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to put everything into it.
No, 100%. 100%. Yeah. I couldn't agree with that anymore. Well, we'll wrap things up there then, Darren. So absolute pleasure as always, and thank you for sharing the knowledge bombs of how you added so much muscle and obviously have now turned pro. So I'm sure we'll get you on for another podcast. I think there's about 1 million different things we could discuss.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So where can everyone find you, Darren?
Instagram's probably the easiest one, and it's just my name, Darren Darrell _IFBB Pro. I'm on there all the time pretty much. If anyone ever messages me, I'll do my best to get back to you.
Awesome. If you guys, I would suggest really go and check out Darren. His story is awesome. Puts out loads of educational, inspiring content. So I'd highly suggest giving him a follow, and I'll pop. Surprise.
Most people don't realize I'm not just a dumb bodybuilder.
No, he's a very intellectual and down-to-earth guy, and he knows his shit. So he's definitely someone to follow. He puts out a lot of good information that will help you. So I definitely suggest checking him out. So pleasure as always, Darren, and hope you guys enjoyed the podcast.
Cheers, mate.